What up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Funboxing with Will. I am your host Will with H2O Co Film and Photo, and today we're going to be getting into another EDC knife review of a knife that I've honestly been after for a long time, more so because of the fact that it's an Intragral than any other knife out there. It's just something that once I started collecting, it kind of caught my eye. I know everybody has different tastes, but Intragrals have always just been something that fascinated me, so I've always wanted one, and finally I found one that I figured I'd go ahead and give a shot, and it is called the Brat by Kizer Knives. It's a newer release, it's a push button lock, and it is a full G10 Intrugrul. So let's get into the review today, guys, and check this knife out.
Student of the game, I'm a scholastic. Platinum when I swipe, no it's not plastic. I fill up the bank, magic. Student of the game, I got my masters. Whoa, 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 whoa. My wife got me a Rolex, step your wifey up. Started from the bottom, now the...
Alrighty guys, before we get over to the top-down setup, as always, I just want to thank all of my subscribers or anyone who's just stopped in to check out this video. If you found any of this information at all informative or useful, or if you just like EDC and tech review kind of stuff, go ahead, hit that like button and that subscribe button. It's really going to help out my channel. I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, all natural growth, no advertising, nothing like that. So I've been working on this channel for a long time. So every one of your likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, they all really help me out, and I thank you guys very much. Other than that, we're going to get into that top-down review, top-down setup to check out the Kizer Brat Intrugrul in 154 cm. So let's get over to the top-down setup now, guys. Alrighty everybody, now that we're over here, we can take a closer look at this new offering from Kizer, the Kizer Brat. Now, before I get into this knife review, I do want to say that this this knife is kind of, it's come to a culmination of a lot of shopping, I guess. Like I've wanted an Intragral or Intragral. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. I'm just going to stick with Intragral. I've wanted one of these designs for years now. Ever since I was first started collecting knives and first saw my first Intragral. I've always wanted one. I've been fascinated with the design and the basically all just the craftsmanship that it takes to go in and, for lack of a better term, canoe out a piece of solid material and still have it fit everything that it needs to perfectly. I just have always been fascinated by the one-piece design. I've always loved that design. And I guess up until this point, I'd never seen a blade shape, a design, whether it was because of the blade shape, pocket clip, handle shape, something or other has always basically killed any desire I've had to pick up any of the Intragrals that I've seen, especially at the price points they come in at, because these are genuinely regularly they're expensive parts. Genuinely was probably the wrong word to use there. Normally they're very expensive. So yeah, normally they're very, very expensive to pick up an Intragral, just because of all the precise machining it takes, and how if you mess up when you're making it, it's not just a little piece of material you're having to toss out. It's an entire, you know, an entire slab of, whether it's G10 or titanium, which these are commonly made from titanium. I've seen a couple of these new G10 versions of these Intragrals that have come out recently, and they caught my eye because mainly the price point, and the Brat specifically because of the blade shape. I really do like the blade shape. I'm a drop point fan. I find it to be one of the more practical blade shapes out there for EDC and cutting purposes, using your knife as a tool, as I promote on this channel. I've always preferred a drop point blade shape, and so as far as I'm aware, this is one of the first sub $100 Intragrals that you can find with a drop point blade. And I could be wrong. I'm sure that there's others out there. I just haven't come across them. And so for me, this was just being sub $100. I think I paid $89 for this thing, I think, when I picked it up from Blade HQ. I'll go ahead and drop a link to the product in the description below. So if you want to go check it out, if you're so inclined, I'll leave a link there for you guys. But so for this, it's kind of like something that I'm a fanboy of already before I even had it in my hand. I'm going to try to be as non-biased in this review as possible, but there are a lot of good things in my opinion about this knife. There are some bad things too that I found about the knife, but I don't think they're anything that you couldn't fix with a little bit of love and care. So going into the actual review of the knife, as I said, it is a Intragral push-button lock with 154 cm steel riding on bearings. It has skeletonized G10, or I'm sorry, completely milled out G10. It's pretty lightweight. I want to say it's coming in under 3 ounces. We'll check that out in just a minute here. I'm first going to get the measurements on this thing. It's going to have a closed measurement of 4.5 inches exactly, and then you're going to have a blade length of, I'm going to go with 3.5 inches, considering it has that belly there, and then a total overall length of exactly 8 inches on this thing. It is a medium to full-size knife. I can get a full 4-finger purchase on a large glove hand, and I don't have any problem doing that. And this ramp right here is more of a finger guard than it is a choil, but you can still choke up a little bit if you're careful right here. And it has a lot of good jimping on the back end of it that I really do appreciate. All around, the construction is really well done. I like I said before, I might be a little bit biased because I've always wanted an Intragral, but I just really feel like they did a really great job with this handle. Honestly, it almost feels like I'm holding a fixed blade when I hold it because of how much the handle fills out the back of your palm. Usually when you have a folding knife, everyone knows that it's usually 2 pieces of material sandwiched with a blade in between, and that tends to have lead to a lot of openings in the back of the knives, which you can feel with your hand when you're holding it. This one doesn't have any openings since it's just all one solid piece of G10. So this milled out pattern here is really, it's nice. It's soft, but it's also texture. So it's not gonna like tear up your pockets or your hands when you're using it, but it's still got good grip, and it fills out the hand very much so like a fixed blade knife. I enjoy that about this a lot. The blade has a full flat grind on it, coming all the way up, I'd say 95% of the way to this little swedge right here at the top. And I really like this blade grind. It is very conducive to sliciness, which I enjoy in my folding knives. As I said, this is what I would consider to be a medium to full-size knife. Here it is next to some other popular EDC knives, the Rat 1, or I'm sorry, the Rat Model 2 right here. And then here it is next to the Rat Model 1. So as you can see, it's pretty much right in between these two. It's a little bit smaller than the Rat 1, but significantly larger than the Rat 2. If you wanted to put it up next to some other knives, here it is next to the Spyderco Para 3. For size reference there, and then a really popular EDC knife here is the Benchmade Bug Out for size reference. So it's slightly bigger than the Bug Out because of the contoured handle being, you know, a little bit fuller, like I said, in the hand. It is going to be a little bit thicker than most EDC knives that I'd say. You know, it's definitely a majority thicker than, you know, the Para 3 or the Bug Out there for you. And then here it is next to. Let's put it next to, let's say, the Inkosi, and then the 80-20.5. So closest match so far would be, I think, the Inkosi, which is a full-size knife. So, but this is a little bit shorter, so I'm still going to go with one more comparison. Here it is next to the Hogue Doug Ritter or the Benchmade Griptilian. It's, you know, the thickness of the handle is about the same as the Griptilian there, so it's not too thick. And if you've ever carried a Griptilian around and you've been comfortable with that, I really feel that this wouldn't be that much of a jump or a leap in what you're used to carrying in your pocket there. So one of the new things I wanted to incorporate into these videos was hardware checks, and so today I'm going to be doing a hardware check. I am pretty sure that everything here is going to be 6 or 8, and because it's an Intragral, there's very minimal screws, so we're going to check. I think the pocket clip screws are going to be T6s. Yeah, they're T6s. The body screw is going to be a T6, And then, so there's 2 screws holding in this deep carry pocket clip. They are mostly recessed except for on the left side, or I'm sorry, right side of the clip if you're holding the knife away from you. It is a little bit proud there because of the contouring of the handle, but I haven't noticed that being a problem catching on anything. So it's carried pretty nicely in the pocket so far. And because of the design, like I said, there's 2 screws holding in the pocket clip, and then there's 1 body screw on each side basically holding in the square piece of liner that contains the locking mechanism and everything for the push button. It is a push button, by the way. And then yeah, the pivot is going to be your T8. So I use Wiha. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with it, but they're a really good name brand, and they're fairly cheap if you want to get some tools to take apart your knives and work on your knives yourself. I can leave a link to my tool set on down in the description as well. I got mine off Amazon. They're fairly popular. So like I said, and it's a fairly lightweight knife here. I'm going to come in, and I'm guessing it's under right around 3 ounces. So let's see here. Okay, I was a little off. It's 3.666 ounces. That's a strange number for an exact weight, but 3.66 ounces. So it is definitely something you can carry around in a pair of gym shorts and not have to worry about it weighing you down. I've been hitting the gym lately, and I've been wearing a pair of And1 basketball shorts when I go to the gym. And I've been carrying this specifically because it is very lightweight, and it's pretty much perfect. It's just a little bit heavier, about twice the weight of the Bug Out. And as I was saying earlier about the blade geometry being very slicey, I really do appreciate the blade geometry. We're going to go ahead and check that right now, the thickness on the blade stock. And yeah, like I said, I'm not sure what it is yet, but it is fairly slicey. So we're going to come in with a blade stock thickness of 0.1, 125, 100. Okay, settle on something. 0.1085 is going to be your blade stock thickness, and you're going to come in behind the edge with a slicey edge of 305 thousandths behind the edge. So anything, like I've said in the past in videos, anything under 300 or under 500 thousandths of an inch, I would consider to be fairly slicey, especially when you have a flat grind geometry. The flat grind is just, it lends to being a more slicey knife, and especially considering this has no thumb studs or anything like that to get in the way of your cuts, your material when you're cutting. 154 cm, I don't think I've shown that a lot on my channel here. I have a couple knives in it. I've used it a lot, and I enjoy it a lot. As far as a non-super steel is concerned, it's probably one of the best out there. I'd rank it up there with D2 is a really good one. 154 cm. There's some other really good ones out there. 14 CR 8 MOV, I think it is, or yeah, 8 MOV is a pretty good one as well for like sliciness and ease of sharpening. So I really do, I find 154 cm to be a really well-rounded steel. I don't use it as much as my S35, 45, or Magna Cut. You know, just full disclosure, I don't get as much use with these knives, as I tend to carry those knives better, more often. I like those steels better. But for what it is, it's really a great steel. And coming in at $89 for this unit, it's definitely a steal. It's a steal that's, it's a steal of a steal, if you get that pun there. So yeah. Now getting into the bad things about this knife, the 2 bad things, or well, I guess the 1 bad thing that I've noticed about this knife. No, there's 2. Okay, so yeah, there's 2. When I first got it, there was a lot of lock stick. When I would use the push button itself to flip it out, it didn't happen as often, but anytime I'd use that flipper tab and really like kick the blade out, I would notice that the button lock was, the lock stick was bad. It was bad. It would get stuck, and I'd have to push it with a lot of force, basically. But once it got past this little click, it became easy again. And after, I don't know, about 3 dozen deployments, it actually started to fade. And at this point now, it's fairly good. The button lock is got very minimal lock stick to it now. And I'm guessing that'll just go away more and more over time. I've only been carrying it for about 2 weeks now, so it's definitely something that I have hopes will go away in the future. And then the last thing that is kind of irritating is that I noticed that the pivot loosened up after about, I don't know, 2 hours. When I first opened it up, got it out the box, I was, you know, fiddling with it. I fidget with a lot of my folders. I have a bad habit of fidgeting with my knives. I try to do it as minimally on these videos as possible, but it is hard. I know you can't tell, but it's a struggle I go with to not fidget with these knives sometimes on camera. But yeah, so I fidget with it a lot, and when I got it out of the box, I noticed right away, within an hour or two, that there was a lot of blade play. And I ended up having to put some Loctite on the lock, and then I tried to leave it alone for about 10 hours, but I probably did flip it a couple times throughout that time period. And then I noticed it loosened up. Not as bad, but it loosened up relatively quickly there again afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and try it one more time, and I'm going to force myself to leave it completely alone and not touch it for the recommended 12 hours of dry time. And then after that, if I do continue to have an issue with blade play because of a loosening pivot, I will just go ahead and get some permanent Loctite and remember that it's there, so that if I do take it apart in the future, I'll need to heat that screw up before removing the pin, the screw itself. So it might be something I might have to do, but I did notice that even when I, you know, kind of torque this down a little bit to make sure it's tight, it doesn't affect the fall of the blade, because they have a square piece of liner in here. I'm not sure how well you can see it on camera, but right here, there is a quarter-size piece of steel in there that's about the size of a square, or I'm sorry, the shape of a square, and it's basically housing the entire assembly, the push-button lock, the blade, and everything. And so when you tighten down that pivot, it doesn't seem to affect the drop shutness of the blade whatsoever. And the push button is also something that I really do like about this. So barring those two things about this knife that I've found to be kind of, you know, not the greatest, I love it. It's all around great. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. I'm gonna carry it a lot more. It's gentlemanly enough to carry in, I think, nicer situations, fancier situations, but still rugged enough and large enough to get the job done when you need something serious tasks done, you know. So definitely something that's going to be part of my new like top 20 collections that I swap out every day, and we will see. I might come back to it later in a future video if I have any updates, but other than that, yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. Let's get back over to the desktop setup so we can finish up this video, and I appreciate you guys coming over and checking out the Kizer Brat Intragral with me today. Alrighty guys, well that's it for today's review of the Kizer Brat Intragral. If you found any of this information at all informative or, you know, entertaining, and if you like EDC reviews or tech reviews, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications to get notified when I put out new content. Other than that, that's it for today's review, guys. I hope you guys stay safe out there, stay smart, and above all, stay sharp, my friends. We need more of that in this world today. Have a good day. Until next time.